Now, as I said, I've got so much I want to talk about with you both. Before I do, I like to do with everyone, if you could please introduce yourself to our audience, that would be wonderful, and the roles that you had on this production.
My name's Danny Gray, and I'm a video VR chat video producer for 2 years at this point. I've been on and off with video editing as a hobby for 15 years, and around at the end of 2021, I've started making music videos in VR chat, and even made more during the Feraldi showcases last year I became part of the Feraldi video production team and made sort of like a short film, but more of a technical difficulties video for Feraldi Luma festivals, which you can also watch on YouTube, called Feraldi Under Siege. So for this golden hour, this is, as I said, this is originally was made for the Feraldi Silva showcase, and serves as a prequel for the Snow in Sweden video that I did for Whispers, and So I pretty much serve as the director, DP, and storyboarding all that for for the video with all that, and with the help of Kip, with his avatars with Quincy and Diego, and
Yes, helping me get into SoundPad. That's an amazing tool to use. If you don't use SoundPad, use SoundPad. Yeah. It's a great way to have pre-recorded content to just get it going. But hello, everybody. Aloha. My name's Kip Kingdom. It's a pleasure to be here with it. Let's go. So it's been a wonderful time working with Danny. It's been, about a year now? Just about at this point in time. Yep. I randomly happened to join in on Danny one day when he was filming somebody chasing a chicken, and it turns out he needs somebody to chase the chicken. Oh. And well, lo and behold, he's running around with camera, and I'm running around chasing anybody who's wearing this chicken avatar who we can throw at, because it's a really not the prettiest chicken. So he's if you can just run around. So it's a whole thing to get on to.
Oh, that sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it's such a, when you think about it, it's such a tonal whiplash coming from, originally running around my play space in my room, facing this little not so beautiful chicken, to suddenly now here we are, creating, work like Golden Hour, work that actually, helps inspire and helps really just bring realism into just so much of VR chat, because there's oftentimes that here we are, we face so many things that happen, that can happen in our day-to-day activities, things that nobody will ever know what goes on, and things that will never know how complicated our feelings are. So getting to do this with Danny, getting to work on this, be the main characters, play it off. Also, of course, we got to have our one and only Byron, our Coda as well, Emerald the Shiva helping out with playing the characters who aren't with us today, but they definitely, helped out when we had scenes with multiple people, or even just channeling. Yeah, exactly. Nice. The whole thing of this one, came through with so many people just bringing their own emotional, past, even, channeling a little bit of their trauma into their character. And so it really, really, it did come into the real effect of it, There was many times we're all sitting with Danny, and he's like, we're going to do the shoot like this, and then suddenly somebody throws out a little screwball idea, and before you know it, Danny's like, actually, that's really good. Let's play with that. Let's go with that, Pretty much. So it's a pleasure.
Thank you for that. That's really intriguing. I mean, I kind of want to dig more into your direction, of course, Danny, and the way that you work with your actors. But I need to ask my first question, and that's, how did you? Okay, we have a strange film playing. I think someone's sabotaging us
Broadcast.
backstage, perhaps.
Let's
Let me
get
stop it. There you go. I apologize. Things are a little scary there. It felt like we were like going
Right?
to jump into a thriller.
Halloween.
And I don't want that.
Right?
Yeah. It's a Halloween prank. I apologize.
That's how it goes on set anyway. We know how that is.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Speaking of curveballs.
Yeah, there you go. There's a curveball. But back to my question. I'm so curious how you managed to achieve such expressiveness in your avatars. Whenever I see this video, I feel the facial expressions, I feel the movements so much, and the camera movement is a big player in that as well. But initially, how did you approach creating? I know it's Diego and what, the one other character?
And Quincy. Diego, Quincy,
that's right.
and Sai.
How did you approach creating those avatars, and how did you achieve such expressiveness in the video?
Well, you'll be happy to know. Yeah, Danny has seen me struggle through learning Unity and all of it.
Yeah, it's all thanks to Kip. Like when it comes to the avatars, like he made like his avatars way more expressive, and like he has ever since like he got like face tracking, and he's been like doing a lot of stuff with the blend chase, with the winter paw base. So yeah, it's so yeah, it's pretty much just.
It's been a wonderful process of learning Blender and Unity and Substance Painter all at one time. we're jumping through hurdles and hoops, but originally, I had the index when this filming was happening. I was utilizing that, so the index doesn't have anywhere to put a face tracker, but it does have an extra USB port into it. So I had purchased a USB Vive, a Vive face tracker, and I basically at first used mounting tape to stick it to the headset, and just had it, feeding like my mouth into it, so that way we can record. Yeah, right. And so we're sitting there, and so as we were filming it, Danny was saying things like, oh, here we got Diego playing the piano, like when you're moving, things like that. He gave feedback depending on how the mouth would move and stuff like that. So I would, increase it like substantially, so that way, when it's moving with it, when it's interacting with both the visemes, and also, with my face tracking as well, it can combine into a more, realistic emotional shape of it. Yeah. So it's just been a lot of work on that.
Well, the work really pays off, I feel. But Dan, did you want to add any more to that?
I don't think like any more like other than just keep like making the characters like very expressive thanks to like experience with doing the blanches, and yeah.
Yeah, so it's a combination of I wanted to ask, is it facial tracking, because I really had a good hunch that it was, but it's a mix. So you haven't turned blend shapes off. You're still using some of the blend shapes, and just exaggerating, with the facial tracker as a base. I see.
I would learn where things would go a little bit too over, and so I wouldn't open my mouth as wide while it's happening, or just even not even open my mouth at all to let the visine play. So it's kind of like you're ping-ponging it, which one do you want to show off more?
I see. When you're trying to achieve the lip syncing in such a smooth, flawless way, are you singing the song?
No, we're using SoundPad, actually. So originally, you'll love this. Back in the day, Danny was actually being the one who would sing the song, and then he would send me him singing it. And so I would play his vocals into it, and then eventually he had me sing it. It didn't work out so well, but he started teaching me how to sing. So then it got a little bit better. But after, having a while of this, it just became easier to utilize SoundPad, because now we can isolate the movements based on, face tracking. So I don't have to worry about the instruments playing in the background. I can just turn off the visemes and mouth it out or sing to it in the background.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I pretty much extracted like the vocals from the songs, and using like an AI like a tool or software, and pass that over to Kip so I can play it over his soundboard on SoundPad, and have the devices move with the vocals. So,
Yeah.
I see. Well, thank you so much for satisfying that question. It was my burning
Yes,
question.
of course, yeah.
And it's great to hear your attention to detail, and also to see a video really utilize facial tracking in a detailed manner. And it's so awesome to see. So thank you for sharing that. I want to talk about space and the worlds that you've chose. They serve the story so beautifully, especially the theme park and the way that you framed all of your compositions in that space. It's clear that you've location scouted ahead of time and, considered where you're going to place. And I'm curious, how did you discover the worlds of the video? Was it right at the beginning, or, something you discovered along the way?
Here, that's right here.
Yeah, I actually found the world like way back before I made the video. Like I thought it would be like a great world to be in, like a future project something. So I saved it to my favorites, and and when I'm trying to gather up ideas for what I'm gonna do for the showcase, I picked the song Golden Hour, and I'm conceptualizing what's the video's gonna be about, and where would it'll all be located and everything. And I thought the theme park world would be a great world to have it set for when Quincy and Diego were dating back then, before their breakup. And when we get to that, when I've gathered a bunch of my actors in that world, I did some location scouting at first, when at the first time we get on there, and it's getting some ideas where the actors would be sitting, or what they were doing in the environment. So just to fill up this space, so the place moves more lively, instead of being alone, only the two characters exist in the space. So just to make make the world feel a little bit alive, so instead of just an empty. So
No, exactly. There would be times where we would go to certain worlds, and so Danny'd be like, I picked out this world here, and maybe one of our actors, or even down the line, he finds a better world, they find a better world, and they mention it. We take a hop over there, and suddenly, oh, this is absolutely actually it. Let's go with this one. So there'd be times sometimes we do a little quick reshoot of it, just to clean up a little bit, because it does, it has the better vibe for what we're looking for, what Danny was looking for in his vision of it.
Yep.
So, everybody's always publishing worlds in VR chat. You know how it goes. We get some beautiful ones going on.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're honestly spoiled for choice. But I love your decision, and I love your choice. It's so beautiful. And actually, it was one of my questions to raise those bigger scenes that you have, and I think the circus is a good example of, you have this whole crowd, and there's a performance happening, and then we push in on the couple enjoying the show, and it really feels alive and feels, very exhilarating with the music too. How did you direct those bigger scenes? It sounds like you just kind of got everyone in the place together and framed the shot, and then let them kind of they found their own rhythm and their own kind of way to be in the space, or were you more direct in your positions and activity?
Pretty much just gather everyone around and just let them do their own thing. Like most of them are just finding their seats around the circus, and two of our actors suggested that they're gonna be circus performers in the middle of the of the stage. So I'm pretty much open to any suggestions from any of my actors that would suit better for the location that they're in, and also the vibe, the mood for the video I've been wanting to make. So
no, absolutely. There's many times he'll be like, find your seats wherever you like to sit. If anybody wants to come into the center and perform and things like that, absolutely get in there. So it gives a chance for so many people to come together and just really express their own ideas into this. So that's why it hits that very real chord with it. because there's many a times that these are actual genuine interactions. For the scene where Diego is punching the little speedball where he's hitting it as hard as he can, it kept erroring out the number, so it kept saying like 0, 1, 0, 0, and that's why he was like, "What? What's the question?" And everybody else is like laughing about it because that's genuinely happening, rather than just like, "Oh yeah, he punches really hard, everybody be impressed." It was more like, he's sitting here trying to get a high number and it's not working. And that was the scene of he was.
Yeah, it's actually like adds to the.
It does.
It's sometimes not the main take.
Right. Well, I think that scene feels really organic, and the people surrounding, react, and it's clear that the reaction was genuine.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It wasn't a perfect scene. It wasn't, the number one idealized scene. It was the one that, vibed the most. It was funny. It was like, it's a good memory for everybody. Everybody had a great time in the Discord talking about it. So that's the one that got used, I
love that. Well, speaking of takes, and I think I can speak for everyone in the room and everyone who's seen the video, one of the most incredible and visually stunning images in this video is the push-ins and the pull-outs. You have these incredible like pushes towards the protagonists and then pulling out, and the movement of the camera just feels so continuous, during the edit. Like some of the cuts just astound me. One cut in particular, we're doing this arc shot around the white-furred character. I think is that Diego? Quincy, sorry.
Yep.
We have this amazing arc shot, and then we cut to Diego playing the piano, and it just hits every time with the movement, and everything works so harmoniously. My question is, how many takes did you do when it came to those push-ins and those pull-outs? Was that something that you took a lot of time to achieve? Or actually, did you manage to do it quite quickly? How was that process, out of curiosity?
It doesn't take too many takes actually. The roller coasters aren't just loops constantly. So it's not like it's like only happens every 3 minutes or so. So yeah, we only have 3 to 5 takes of him singing as either Diego or Quincy, and I just pretty much and the edit I just pretty much get the best shot I have for for the specific part of the song and whatever, and the best performance, and also what's as well as the roller coaster passing by like this. So yeah, I pretty much just get the best takes for those out of those things.
Yeah, no, the scenes where Diego's playing on the piano, I pulled up the music sheet, so I'm playing the keys on the piano as accordingly as I can on index, and so what he's doing is, Danny will say, okay, you just sit there and you play, the beginning part of it, the first half of it, and while you're playing it, I'm going to circle around you until we got something that looks proper, and so he'll do it a few times over, then he's like, I think I've got it, and he'll do that one last time, and there it is, it's set. It's very quick. Danny's really, really streamlined with it when it comes down to getting the shots very quickly out there.
Yeah, pretty much shoot a lot of much of coverage as possible, so I have a lot more choices in the edit later, and
there was quite a few of those shots that weren't even used, like the one where we had him playing in this essentially a giant music box that it would open up from a canopy and it would show off the stars and things like that. So we were able to shoot multiple locations, and even if we didn't use all of them, it's still very fast. So it wasn't anything more than maybe usually our shoots are about 2 hours long when it comes down to it. It's really quick.
Nice. Oh, I feel like that's always the goal in film production, and this goes for VR and live action, is just to be as efficient as possible, and get it, be snappy and prepared and well planned, and so it sounds like you've achieved that very well.
Oh yeah, Danny's a fantastic director when it comes down to that.
Right. Now, just staying on the camera movement. I'm curious,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for those big push-ins and big movements, that's obviously happening in production, and you've achieved that in camera. But if I may peel behind the curtain a little bit, are there movements added in post too, like to create more subtlety and subtle kind of handheld movements, or is that all in camera? Because it's so, you know, the movement is continuous all the time, and it's so well done.
Yeah, most of the shots are actually like done in game on camera. Like I had to, I used like the drone a lot along with the zoom to like get like these big push-ins, push-outs, and some. And there will be some occasions where like the shots are clearly static, and I just like zoomed in or out in post. But yeah, but a lot of it I tried to have it done through on camera, so it's feel like more natural, and actually adds to the to the mood of the video. So yeah, because I really enjoy like a lot of films that has like, you know, a lot of like big camera movements and all of that, just to like give the audience like a certain emotion, or like that's yeah.
Yes.
It's so well done. And I think, you know, a really nice detail, just staying on cinematography too, is your use of really tight lenses to really bring intimacy, you know, into the characters. And you also have this lens blur as well, and it feels so romantic, and, you know, really stays true to that genre and in that kind of form of cinema. I loved, you know, how you graded the film and the transitions that you create and the warmth in the imagery. I'm curious if that sort of color grading and editing form was something you wanted from the beginning. You know, you wrote the kind of the warmth and the flashes and the transitions from the beginning, or if that's something that you really found during the post.
The color grading is something I've been kind of experimenting in the post until I get the right like color that I wanted for the video, because it's supposed to be like a set in the past. It's supposed to be like nostalgic and everything, and I added like you know the not only the lens blur but also like the film like the film burn effects and all that, showing that this like a past memory, like a kind of like a degrading film, and yeah.
I see. I feel like I'm talking to every director about their color grading. In all of my Q&As, people in the audience probably fed up with me talking about color grading. But when you're working in VR chat, especially, yeah, it's a really interesting tool and can do so much for your footage.
Yes.
So I think it's a really important thing to recognize, and it's so well
Such
illustrated
an important,
in this.
subtle suggestion.
Yeah, with your transitions and trying to create that nostalgic feeling. I feel like you've nailed it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, I want to divert and talk a bit about story. You know, the ending of this video when I saw it for the first time, not seeing the kind of the sequel to this, my jaw just completely dropped. You know, you're in this joy and this utopia, and you're so happy, and then all of a sudden it just comes crashing down. But the way you've used the music in that sequence is amazing, and I'm curious if, you know, you wrote the story from the very beginning, and that sequence at the end, you know, that was the breakup and the kind of reflection scene. How did you, was there a point in the production or in your process where you realized the story and said, this is it? Or did you have it from the very beginning and we're shooting it?
I kind of already have this story in mind from the beginning of shooting, because I've already done the Snow in Sweden video, because that video is like the with Quincy dealing with the aftermath of a breakup, and this is and this video is just Diego. It's this side of the relationship where he's like dealing with the breakup, and also like reminiscing like the past of when they were dating back then, and all that. So yeah, I pretty much like already like conceptualized the story already, and yeah.
No, like
Nice.
every now and then I suggest, I'd be like, what do you think if we do this? And Daddy's like, no, we've got it. I've got it set. Let's do this, Kip. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, heard. Absolutely, no question.
Yeah.
So he's definitely, like he was on it when he was starting to film this one. Definitely coming off of Snow in Sweden. He had his idea, his direction going. Like it was fast. It was really really quick how fast this all came together.
Well, I'm sure it was really inspiring, having the Snow in Sweden story. You had that as a base, and it's so easy for you to kind of take that and think about what was before, and that's like a brilliant jumping off point creatively. So I'm not surprised that you had it, ready to go and written.
Honestly, yeah.
Now,
it even comes down to like a little bit of the when interacting with people outside of the film, So obviously, Diego and Quincy, these are some of my characters, and so when I'm running around in an instance, wearing Diego from coming off of Snow in Sweden, everybody's like, I don't like this guy. Like, I absolutely despise him for what he did, things like that. And like, it was very, it was a very real feeling, because now when I put on Quincy, and I run around a little bit, everybody's like, like, I can't believe he did that for you. Like, I can't believe he did that. Things like that. Like, I'm so sorry that happened. I'm like, oh, it's part of the video. Like, it's okay. Like, don't. But the fact that people built such a connection to it too, like, and Danny obviously was around me during these times where I would pull out these characters just to get a general reaction of people to see what they thought about them, and it was very much like everybody loves Quincy, but everybody despises Diego. And then so now we got the second video, and suddenly we're allowed to glean a little more light into just, again, a very real relationship, Yeah.
I love that. I mean, you're building some complexity, and that's truthful for relationships.
Yes,
that's great to see. Now, I really want to open up for some audience questions, but before I do, I really want to give you an opportunity to highlight what you're up to now, Danny, because you have quite an exciting project on the horizon, and I'd love for you to be able to share that with the audience before we go to audience questions.
Oh yeah, so I've made recently I made an announcement that I'm doing like a feature film musical project here in VR chat called The Ballad of Boy Pablito. It's gonna be a story of the Blue Tatum, who's been in my music videos, Pablito, going through like going through his rise in fame, and his friendship with his friends, is this new friend who helped him like rise up to fame. And that's pretty much the story I can tell you. So currently we're still in a pre-production phase, since we're doing some like rework on the script and some re-recordings for the dialogues for the characters. But sooner we'll be delving onto filming this musical project, and we got plenty of ideas for that. So I already pre-selected songs for the project, and already like visualized the scenes and the music, what's musical numbers and all that. And so we're hoping to get it done before the summer of next year. So
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so excited. So excited to see more. More of your directing and more of your performances too. Now, I would love to open up for any audience questions that anyone has. If anyone has any questions, please come down to the stage and ask. Otherwise, I can always ask more for now.
True. Yeah.
It's me again.
Hello.
Hello.
When you go to a walk and listen to a music, you always imagine some kind of video clip.
Yeah.
So why do you choose this song?
Ooh, here we go. Yeah, tell him it's also a special version of the song too, Danny.
Because any song listen, you imagine some kind of video clip or animation or some sort. But why this one?
Yeah. The reason I picked particularly this song, especially mixed in with CG files, like on second verse, is like there's so much emotion that Jake has like been putting through the song, and and also having CG5 as the second verse really adds into it, like because this video is about like the relationship between these these two characters, Quincy and Diego, and I thought like it would be best to have Jake be like Diego be kind of like portraying as Jake, and then Quincy portraying as CG5, who did like the original second verse. That's kind of like has like sort of like different lyrics from the original song, and yeah, that really like.
But if I can stop you there, how the song influenced the video clip itself in terms of narration?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The narration, like especially for the first with Jake's part, is kind of literal. Like it shows almost like shows exactly what's going on exactly in the video clip. Like it was just two lovers sitting in the car, and they were in the car, and so.
Oh, the lyrics inform the video very well. I think you've taken a lot of inspiration from the lyrics in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's like almost on the spot. Even when we were working together on this, like there would be times that I would sing with a little bit more emotion during certain parts, or when Quincy is singing alone, like I'm doing motions, like the sun will go down and things like this, and a lot of it was just like, okay, that's it, let's go with that, like, all right, let's move to that motion, So it was very much like in a sense like there was the vision that he had already going into it, but there was a lot of it that developed during like the intimate moments of creating this, that these characters, they were very real to not just us but to the people, and so when we're going through and we're filming together, there'd be times that Danny would say, hey, could you do a little bit more expressiveness when you're singing here to really emphasize this part of it, and absolutely, 100%. So it was constantly evolving as we were filming it.
Thank you, Fernanda. Great question.
Yes, we appreciate you, Fernanda.
Always coming up with good questions. Does anyone else have any more questions?
We need them. Right. Any more? We're looking. I'm listening.
No. Well, I'm sure
I vibe, don't you?
I can. I should check YouTube stream.
I guess another one, I guess.
Ooh, double Fernanda.
Okay.
I'm down for it. Okay,
let's double Fernanda. Right? Let's do it.
Okay. Bring it. All right. Yeah.
So in the video clip, there's some kind of betrayal because you match with someone and they saw you with another person.
That's actually a big question. If you're getting towards what I think you're going to ask, that's a question we get a lot.
that way. Maybe the song was not in the same vibe, but visually you did that.
Well, Danny, on this one, it was originally kind of almost open in the beginning with it, because we did get a lot of questions about people asking, like, were they actually, like, doing things together, or was he just, like, talking to him and it was, like, a misunderstanding?
Kept it ambiguous.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something for Danny to
especially
expand on now,
we can always interpret a song better.
Yeah.
But for you, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason especially since I picked, the reason I picked, like CG5 as like or second verse, because like there's some, in that original verse, like, it feels like there's some doubt, like with the relationship, when it comes like how he written the lyrics, how he worded and is sung it, and it's totally different from like the original song from Jake. So even though you don't see it up until the very end, like Quincy is kind of like as sometimes doubting if this relationship would work, even though they're having like a good time in the amusement park, and like he's so it's
keeping it ambiguous.
A lot of subtleties to it.
It's very subtle, like how
It's kind of like, in the sense, as many people have bonded with these characters, you know, in that way you kind of do help inspire and shape that, because, you know, again, we've all come from different facets of life, and we've all come from different relationships of life as well too. So some people may bonded to Diego. You know, when we played over in, you know, within Ferrari Silva, people were, you know, I was in a room full of people, you know, guests, and they were gasping, and they were like, "Oh my goodness," you know, like. And then I heard, you know, some people be like, "I can't believe you did that," and I heard other people who were saying, you know, things like, you know, I was guilty of doing that kind of thing in the past, you know, and it very much hit a chord for a whole bunch of different people. So having that, yes, like it seemed ambiguous, because for Diego coming into it, he doesn't exactly know what's happening, and it's just like the viewer, you're going to that same sense of like, were they cheating? Because that's the original thought immediately. You know, for everybody, almost everybody was like, hey, you know, he's got his hands on his shoulder, he's doing something with him, you know. So it left that open in a sense, you know, but it depended on what you saw with it. And who knows, maybe we'll cough, cough.
Well, that's really well said, Kip. Yeah, and I think the camera, the way you framed those scenes, also lends itself to that. You know, we're in these big movements, a lot of intimate shots, and then we pull out, we've got more of a mid shot, and we're glancing, and, you know, coming behind the wall as well, and we're seeing it through Diego's eyes. Right, and so it's, you know, it feels right to be somewhat ambiguous and confused and fast and
chatting.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know for
exactly.
It is.
That's why.
We're seeing it through. Like, it's still it's up in the air and confusing.
Yeah, it comes through. You know, you have Sai.
It's not cheating.
Exactly. You have Sai who comes through, and it's like, you know, like, hey,
we never.
And then you got Quincy coming through, you know, and there's so many like little emotions, little subtlety emotions that most people will pass up because they're not looking for that, because they don't even want to look for it in the first place, you know. But for those of us who, of course, have gone through these paths, who have, you know, faced a lot of complex relationships with people, it's something that you can really, really look deep into, and you can find, you know, very much an answer from it.
Okay. I feel like that's all we have time for today, but thank you for that, Fernando. You asked the big question, I feel like.
Right? You had a great one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So, once again, thank you so much to